my mother always smelled beautiful. And from my earliest recollections, she always smelled like Estee Lauder Youth do. It just permeated everything that she had. All of her clothes smelled like it, and it was beautiful. And eventually, I ended up pinching it when I was a young teenager, and that's what I wore as well. And we are so tied to our memories of different fragrances. And so although this always reminds me of my mom, this reminds Paul of me because this is what I wore when I was just a teenager. This was undoubtedly my mother's signature scent. It was a long, long time later, after she was remarried, that she started wearing Oscar de la Renta. And she wore Oscar de la Renta, the original, right until the day that she passed away. When I first met my mother-in-law, she smelled incredible. And what she wore was Belle of Versailles. And this is an iconic, classic, real throwback fragrance, and it evokes everything that I think about for my mother-in-law. It's classy and rich and intoxicating and a little bit exotic. And my mother-in-law has always been and still is the most glamorous woman that I have ever met. When I would go over there, and I was just a young girl, 17 years old, and she was dressed up always beautifully. She had lashes on and makeup, and she kind of looked like a movie star. And this went along with that. And I really think that that may have influenced me to my later choices in perfume. Many celebrities have signature scents, most of them not the ones that have their name on them. Think of J.Lo and her fragrances and Taylor Swift, for example. So word according to Harper's Bazaar is that Taylor Swift really loves Santal Blush by Tom Ford. We all know by now that Rihanna is really linked to Love, Don't Be Shy by Kilian. Adele apparently is partial to Poison by Dior. And another Kilian fragrance, Angel Share, is apparently the true love of Beyonce. This celebrity connection with signature scents includes Spring Flower by Creed. This Spring Flower is known to be Audrey Hepburn's signature scent. And so, because our daughter Victoria loves Audrey Hepburn, we bought this for her. Surprisingly, or maybe not, as much as Audrey Hepburn loved it, Victoria was not really a fan. Saying all that, it led me to believe that I needed to have a signature scent. And from a very young age, I have been searching and scouring and smelling my way through so many perfumes, looking for that elusive signature scent. What I want to show you today are some of those scents along the way, and did I ever really get there? As a young woman, I was working in high-end retail at the time, and I found First by Van Cleef & Arpels. I was not really heavily into jewelry at that point. I didn't understand the whole jewelry connection, but First by Van Cleef & Arpels really just spoke to me. It smelled grown up, and it smelled classy, and it smelled different from all of the other ones. It was still a woody, fruity, floral, and there's definitely that floral thing that you're going to be seeing through all of my choices, but it is still around, and it's still a classic, and I still love it, and it really is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Although this does start out really floral and fruity, it dries down with a sandalwood and a musk, which really is something else that I tend to go for, I've learned over the years. And this still, to me, has a place in my perfume wardrobe. After First, I went on to, and I don't have any today, my next one was really Opium, and that was a strong blockbuster of a fragrance. Still available, and Opium Black is a really highly, highly popular fragrance today. This one that I liked was just the regular Opium, and I wore that for a long time, but it really was heavy, like really heavy, especially since I was like a really young woman at that point. But it's one that I went to, and I think that was really influenced by this Belle of Versailles. The other one at the same time was the 1000 by Jean Patou. Again, very amber, heavier, darker, spicy fragrance. But I don't know, maybe I was trying to grow up a little bit too fast, but they're beautiful now. I think looking back, maybe they were a little bit heavy for me, but they didn't turn into my signature. I love them, but I did move on from them. The thing about a signature scent, if you're going to have one, is that you really have to love it. It has to be versatile, and it has to be something that you go back to and you enjoy it every single time. It needs to be you, but also a part of it is what you're trying to project. What is the image that the fragrance has, and what is the image that you want to have? Well, I moved into the Creed, my husband called them the love-ins, because I had love in white and I had love in black. And when I would come downstairs, he'd say, "You smell great, it's one of those love-ins," but he could never really get it straight. And I wore love in white for quite some time, but truth be told, it's fresh, it's a white floral, and I never truly loved it. Everybody else loved it on me, but I never felt that it was mine. I always felt like I was smelling somebody else, but yet I kept wearing it, and I repeatedly bought the bottle. So you know that that's always a sign. If you rebuy, you know that it had a place for you. And now I've just got body lotion left. I'm all out of the love-ins, and I've moved on from the love-ins, and other Creed ones have come and gone. But this does have a special place, and it is so identifiable. You wear this and people know right away, oh, that's love in white. And it is a beautiful floral, white floral fragrance, citrusy and soft, but it has a sharpness at the beginning that I really don't find overly appealing. For me, it really has to dry down. The original Miu Miu, which debuted in 2015, has notes of Lily of the Valley, which I adore Lily of the Valley. And this one is another that I keep coming back to. Very much a mainstream perfume, not over the top expensive like the Creed for sure, but lovely, lasts a long time, kind of sexy, kind of different. Really, I think I was stepping into my own then. I just sort of wasn't really too worried about, was it a big name brand, whatever. I smelt it, I loved it, I still love it. There's a lot of iterations of the Miu Miu now. This is still the original, and it's still a keeper for me. Did it become my signature? No, but I wore it a lot. I guess you didn't think we could get through this tray without having Cardinal Flower. And you know, I think Cardinal Flower, just about everybody that's really into perfume had to have Cardinal Flower. It's really iconic. It's just one of the masters, the highest intensity of tuberose of any perfume. It is just like knock your socks off right here. And it is heavy. To me, this is not an everyday fragrance. This is colder weather, darker nights. It's really, they can smell you coming with this one. And it is beautiful. Not my favorite. Not my favorite. I really tried. I kind of wanted Cardinal Flower to be the one just because of all the hype with Cardinal Flower. And though I do really like it, again, I didn't really think that it was me. So my hunt for the signature scent kept on going. Launched in 2019, the original YSL Libra, or Freedom in English, was one that I bought when I was at Sephora one day, and you had to spend $100 to get some bonus. And so I bought this. It was newly released. And I have to tell you, everybody loves this. My husband loves this fragrance. It's sexy, it's fresh, it's vibrant. It really smells just, oh, never mind that. It really smells beautiful. It still has that amber to it and the musk at the end, but not overpowering. Really a nice freshness to it. And this smells, I started looking this up when I was researching some of these perfumes, and I'm going to put on the screen what somebody says about this one. And I don't know if that's why my husband likes it so much or not, but I didn't really think of that when I bought it. Base note, vanilla, cedar, musk, things that I do go back to over and over again, bergamot, and just not really heavy though, although those do sound really heavy. It dries down to that nice lasting power, and all around a beautiful, beautiful fragrance in a not too bad price point. We know that we like a fragrance when more than one bottle is purchased. And This Adventist for Women is a fragrance that I have bought over and over again, and it's one that I keep coming back to. And in the morning when I'm deciding what fragrance that I'm going to wear, a lot of times I do this and I come back to this. And it's a woody, floral, beautiful, feminine scent. It lasts and lasts. And I always feel good when I have this on. And I'd have to say that throughout the years, this is probably the closest that I've come to one. I don't know that I would go so far as to call it my signature, but it is one that I really adore. It makes me feel good. Everything about it is very positive and uplifting and happy. And I like to feel happy. So I do keep coming back to Adventist for Women, and I get lots of compliments. It lasts and lasts. Again, this one dries down with sandalwood, patchouli, and musk. I guess I like musk. I didn't even think that I really liked musk that much, but I clearly do. So if you haven't tried this one, you know what? Don't blind buy it, because if you don't like it, it's really expensive. But it is one that I really love. So my newest buy just recently is Guidance by Amouage. And I have to tell you that when I first tried this one, I didn't even like it. I go to this amazing place, if you live in the GTA, called Niche Essence in Baby Village. And the lady there, Rose, is incredible. She's like the sommelier of scents. And I tried this and I was like, no, I don't know, not really. And I came home, and when I went to bed, I woke up in the middle of the night and I could still smell it. And it was getting better and better and better. And this is truly a beautiful fragrance, quite different than my other one. So you see, the quest continues. It has amber, it's spicy, it's a little bit fruity, but floral is kind of down in the notes, more so than my other ones. And it's subtle, but it's very beautiful. It's very understated. It's very feminine. It's very different. This is a new fragrance only developed in 2023. And it's one that I'm really loving. And I enjoy so much discovering new fragrances, always looking for new fragrances, occasionally doing some really bad blind buys based on reviews of fragrances. But, you know, that's kind of a bit of the fun. There's so many more. I have really quite a gigantic collection of fragrance, and I'd love to share some of those other ones, like my bad blind buys, with you guys, or really other favorites, maybe my 5 that I'm wearing all the time. The bottom line is, I've never found a signature scent. I don't think that I will find a signature scent because I am a perfume lover. I don't think that I can just finally get there and say, hey, I found it, I love it, I wear it, and I'm done. And I hope that doesn't make me sound like one of these, you know, perpetual playboys, the bachelor that can never get married because he's always looking for the next best woman. Because I don't feel like that. I just feel that I love so many. I don't find that I'm just going to be able to find one that's going to be able to do it all for me in all of the seasons, in all of my outfits, in every different environment and different event and different things that I go to. No, I have to have things that make you feel good, that you smell, and it just sets something off within you that really speaks to you. So I don't know that I'm even going to keep looking for my signature scent. Maybe I'll just have a few. And some of these, even my first one, my first one, I still go back and I enjoy it and I see why I loved it, and I still love it. And that is what fragrance is all about. Thanks so much for being here with me today. Please let me know in the comments what your favorites are. And if you have a signature that you're happy and you just wear the same one, I would love to hear that. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.